This is the ultimate Loomian Legacy beginner's trading guide and is the only trading guide beginners will need to get into Loomian Legacy trading. This guide is a very surface level guide and it's made for beginners to get well versed with the Loomian Legacy trading system. If you already know a little bit about the Loomian Legacy trading system, I suggest you wait for my intermediate guide to come out and maybe you'll learn a little bit more. Okay, so there are 5 big groups of Lumians that you can actually trade. The first one being the normal Lumians. Normal Lumians include route commons, which are Lumians that you can encounter at every route, and you can encounter them pretty consistently and pretty commonly, hence the name route commons. Then there are route rares, which are rare Lumians on each route. These include things like Shachi, Igneel, or Wildile. These appear rarely on each route and can be a little harder to find. Next, we have fossil Lumians. Fossil Lumians are Lumians that you can encounter by reviving fossils at the UMV place in Route 8. These Lumians include Zaleo, Dobo, or Kyogre. There are obviously more. Now we can talk about the starters. You can actually trade starters that aren't the ones that you begin with. Starters include Embit, Weevil, or Snowcub. These starters can easily be rallied, then trade. Now, Weather Lumians. Weather Lumians are another type of normal Lumians that any player can encounter. These include Hydrini, Pipsy, Whisper, Small, and Nemble. These Lumians can only be encountered during certain weathers that you can see in your watch. Finally, we have the Events Lumians. These are the rarest Lumians of the normal Lumian section, and they include Lumians that are reskinned or only appear once a year. Some reskinned Lumians that are pretty rare are like Halloween Shachi. The things most players don't know is that those normal Lumians don't actually hold any value. Those normal Lumians are easily obtainable by anyone that just spends little time hunting. Even the levels that you got take minimal grinding to achieve. Now you might be frightened by this fact because normal Lumians are all Lumians that you have. Don't be. There's actually a way for you to trade for higher value based on these no value Lumians. This is because some people who want to complete mastery may need your already evolved normal Lumian. Or they might just need it because they don't want to spend that time hunting to complete that mastery. Just a side note, Loomian Legacy pros are really lazy, so they'll find any shortcut or just overpaying a little bit to get what they want. So once they overpay you, you can now break into the trading game really easily. Okay, so we're talking about values, so we must talk about demands. In Loomian Legacy, it's much like the normal economy where supply and demand are core principles. To explain supply and demand in short, well, if you have more of something, everyone gets the more of something, and no one's really interested because everyone has it. But if there's less of something, that means more people want it, and so that thing becomes more valuable. So, for beginners, it's just easy to understand in good demand and bad demand terms. If something has good demand, the community wants it, and if something has bad demand, the community doesn't want it. Roaming Lumians are the next group of Lumians that are tradable. Roaming Lumians have a wild encounter rate of 1 in 1024, and they're like the legends of Loomian Legacy. But there's more to know. Roamings come in 2 main types, soft resettable and normal roamers. For beginners, soft resettable roamers are Lumians you can catch while progressing through the storyline. They include Lumians like Mudagon, Cephalops, and Elephage. Because these can be encountered by anyone who plays the story, They're usually less valuable than roamers found only by active hunting. Normal roamers, on the other hand, aren't guaranteed encounters in the storyline. They show up in the wild for players that specifically hunt for them. This category includes Lumians like Dusket, Ikazune, and Protagon. There are more in both categories, but these are just examples that highlight the difference. While roamers generally hold decent values, just remember that soft resettable roamers are less valuable compared to those encountered through wild hunts. So if you have a roamer you caught in the wild, it's probably worth more in trade. Now, for the most important group, known as the Gleamings. The Gleamings are split into two sections known as the Gleamings and Gammas, and they have different values. Every Lumian can be Gleaming and Gamma, and if we were to put this in Pokemon terms, a Gleaming Lumian would be like a Shiny Lumian, and a Gamma, well, it'd be an Ultra Shiny in my opinion. Gleamings have a rate of encounter of 1 in 4,096 in the grass, and Gammas have a 1 in 20,000. So think of them as separate categories, each with its own value and demand. Pro traders often refer to Gleamings as G and Gamma Gleamings as GG. So when I mention G Shachi, it means a Gleaming Shachi, while GG Shachi refers to the Gamma version. Throughout this video, I'll talk about everything in terms of a gleaming value from now on, essentially how many gleams each item is worth. Later on though, we'll learn the more defined term that pro traders use in the more intermediate and advanced trading videos. Now, not all Gleaming Gammas are created equal. Typically, a basic Gamma, a common type on regular routes, most notably known as the Raw Gamma, they have decent demand. They're worth around 9 to 10 gleam value. But some Gammas known as the infamous trio, which is Kabunga, Slugling, and Calf Note, the tree, slug, and cow, fall under the bad demand or the bad Gamma section. So when traders say not looking for bad Gammas or only looking for good Gammas or trading raw Gammas, you know how to differentiate them. The bad Gammas are worth around 3 to 4 gleams and they're lower in community interest. Then there are the Gamma Route Rares and the Gleam Roams, which are highly sought after and hold far more value than just a bunch of gleams. So we'll explore them in another video. Just a side note, everything about the Gamma and the bad Gammas applies same to the gleams. The infamous trio is also notable in the gleams, where bad Kabungas, slugs, and cows, they appear as gleams too. So if you encounter those, they're also known as bad gleams. If you recall the normal roamers, not the soft resettable ones, normal roamers are worth around half a gleam, meaning you need 2 roamers if you want to trade for 1 raw gleam. Not the bad gleams, the raw gleams, which are the decent demand ones. Secret Ability Lumians or SA Lumians are the next group that we're going to talk about. Secret Ability Lumians are Lumians that are unique and have a different ability than they would normally have. These Lumians are denoted by the little purple sign that you'll see in your Lumians tab. Secret abilities are worth around half a gleam or a roam, depending on which ability it actually is. Some really good secret abilities can be worth Gammas, but that's only certain ones. PvP Lumians. Wow. They definitely deserve a video for themselves, but today we're gonna dumb it all down and talk about the trading values. In short, PvP Lumians are Lumians that are very valuable in the Battle Coliseum. Some PvP Lumians range from secret abilities to great personalities. We'll be going into that more in another video. Just remember, if your Lumian has a decent personality, or if someone tells you that your Lumian has a decent personality or has a decent UP or well-trained TPs, then you might have yourself a PvP Lumian. So PvP Lumians go for around, I would say, sometimes good, a Gamma, but usually they go for a few gleams, especially at these realms. The PvP Lumians are pretty basic and pretty common, so they go for around a few gleams. Besides trading the actual Lumians, players can also trade items. The way they trade items is they would equip the item that they want to trade onto useless Lumians. then those Lumians would be sent to the player that they are trading, and that player would then take the item off those Lumians. Basically, the most important item that beginners have to know are the shards. Shards are basically items that boost a Lumian's UP stats, which are really hard to change. Shards are worth around a gleam to 2 gleams, and depending on who's asking, it can even be worth a gamma. Now, the most important trading strategy for beginners is one that I discovered from my friend a few years back. This trading strategy actually revolves the shards that we just talked about, and basically it goes like this. A beginner player would obtain a shard, then trade it off for 2 gleams. For each gleam, then they would get another shard, and then trade those off for 2 gleams. Basically, if you don't already get it, you're just gaining more gleams every time you trade shards. This works most of the time. Sometimes people are not looking for your shards or not looking for your gleams. It's okay, that's how trading is. Move on with your day, try to find another trade, and this method will work. Before we end off this video, we have to talk about chatting and some basic trade etiquette. Oftentimes, beginners struggle with knowing what to put in the chat, or they sometimes are a little disrespectful to older players or players that are also beginners. Honestly, when it comes to trading, I don't think there's anything as important as actually speaking or actually chatting. Trading is a social thing, it's a communal thing, and it revolves around communication. So when you're trading, you actually have to go out there and put yourself out there. So the basic rule of trading is you have to advertise what you're trading. To do that, I would use the sentence trading for blank and looking for blank. When you're talking about what you're looking for, it can be one of 2 things. It can be a Lumian that you're looking for, or a more general thing like offers. If you're just looking for offers for the Lumian that you actually are trading, then you can also say looking for offers. Because trading is such a chatting-based thing, it's important to remember that there are a lot of etiquettes that go around it. The first main etiquette that you have to remember is just to never send blank requests. If you don't have the thing that other people are looking for, or if you don't have anything in the general realm that they're looking for, it's not a good idea to send them a request just so they could look at your Lumians. The next tip I have is just to private chat. Many people already do this, but I have to throw this out as a reminder. If you don't private chat, the chat fills up with a bunch of your talk with the other person, and can be really hard for other people that are looking for trades to navigate their trade now that spamming is not allowed anymore, and it's harder to send in another trade request. Now, the final rule is to always throw in a thank you, or if you don't like the trade, always throw in a no thank you, don't just decline. It's very disrespectful to just decline. Always say no thank you, or it's not what I'm looking for, and just say a thank you when you like the trade. Alright, before ending this video, I have to tell everyone that I'm giving away a Gleaming Puremind. To enter this giveaway, it's really simple. All you have to do is drop a like, hit the subscribe button, and comment down below your Roblox username with the 2 hidden emojis that I've dropped throughout the video. And if you enjoyed the video, I hope you share it with a few friends. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!